Good afternoon and welcome to Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. Frank Granito in studio alongside Kevin Coleman as we've got our playoff postseason coverage continuing on here. It's Tuesday, October 31st. Happy Halloween, everyone. No action in the FCAC today, Kev. We thought we might see Ridgefield and Staples in girls volleyball, but due to another day of cancellation at the Ridgefield Public Schools, that game postponed again, so we've got some time to catch our breath and catch up on all the action we've seen so far.
We've seen a lot of great action here so far throughout the FCAC postseason. Again, a lot of houses in Ridgefield are still without power. That's why school is canceled today, and that's why volleyball, unfortunately, will not be played today. But looking forward to tomorrow's match between Staples and Ridgefield. That's going to be a great match. But again, we've seen some pretty exciting playoff games throughout these past couple days.
Yeah, and we're getting closer and closer to the end, unfortunately, as it's just flying by right now. Of course, the finals are set for boys soccer as well as field hockey. We were at Fairfield Ludlow last night, Kev, and we got a great look at both of the championship contenders now, and it's going to be a rematch of what we saw in 2016.
Oh, I think for both teams, they've been wanting this because you look back last season and when that final ended between Trumbull and Greenwich, disappointment, I think, was the key word because they both wanted to go home with the crown on their own. They don't want to be co-champions. They want to take that crown home individually. And yes, it's something to be proud of. And what I thought was cool yesterday was, especially during that Trumbull game, a lot of those former Trumbull players last year, the seniors came back, hanging out on the sidelines, cheering the Eagles on, which was very cool, I thought. And how cool of a moment was it? Andrew Restrepo coming off the bench, a late sub, a great sub by head coach Gengemi, comes in, scores that great goal there late in the second half. Who's waiting right there on the sidelines is his brother Matthew, who was a key part in last year's great final and last year's great team with the Eagles, another great center midfielder. So it was a cool moment for the Trumbull Eagles and for the Restrepo family. But we saw two great semifinal games. Greenwich just looked too good. Norwalk couldn't get anything going. Plain and simple. They had chances. Freddy Rosales, I thought, looked good. Hidalgo had some chances. He tried to create. But listen, this back four for Greenwich is going to give Trumbull a lot of difficulty come Thursday night. I was very impressed with what I saw with Greenwich. They slowed the pace down, but they also picked things up. This is a fast team. They like to, start possession and look upfield right away. They look to go forward. And I think it's going to be another great match like we saw last year, a 1-1 tie. I really don't know who's going to win this one because I really like what I saw from both teams so far throughout this FCAC tournament. It's going to be a fun one Thursday night.
Well, let's break them down, each game individually, and let's start with Trumbull and Danbury. It was a rematch of a semifinal game we saw last year. The Hatters coming in off that big upset of #1 Ridgefield. Now they get #5 Trumbull, and we expected the goalies to play a huge role in this game. They were both the stars of the show. Unfortunate that one of them ended up having to be the loser yesterday.
It is, and I got to give a ton of credit to both goalies, Menjivar and Mountain-Thiel. And Mountain-Thiel, I gave a lot of praise during the broadcast yesterday, Frank. I thought he played outstanding. That goal by Restrepo, the 1-0 goal, there's nothing you can do as a goalie on that play. A great first touch, gets by a defender in Tyler Warren, who was outplayed at that point. He got by his defender. Tyler Warren was caught flat. Bang, Restrepo tucks it in the far post. There's nothing a goalie can save there. Mullen-Thiel's had a great year. He's got to move forward. I thought he was excellent against the Richfield Tigers in the quarterfinals, great in the semifinal, but at the end of the day, someone had to go home a loser. But Menjivar, again, stepping up big for Trumbull, coming out, really taking initiative, talking to his back four, making some great saves, coming out. If he has to punch the ball during a set piece, he does that. I thought he was spectacular for Trumbull, and I expect to see him doing the same thing Thursday night.
Well, we look at the highlights now here, Kev, and for me, what stood out was both teams had their chances. Both goalies made big saves. I don't know that Trumbull this time around can afford to go into extra time without scoring against Greenwich. That would really prove to be costly. Ultimately, though, they got the win in the semifinals that they needed to. Let's see how they did it, taking down #8 Danbury.
With the attempt, ball towards the box. Towards the back post, still loose. Trying to get a shot off. It's off the crossbar, but they're offside again.
Up, man. Another close chance for Trumbull.
Corner kick here to the back post. Weinstein, it's deflected and loose.
What a save.
40 seconds to go. That's a high arcing ball deeper in the box.
Team who I'm excited to see. We haven't seen them yet this year, Frank. I'm really looking forward. I mean, Jim Johnson, keeper for Greenwich, easily one of the top goalies in the state. He's not going to be easy to get by.
Restrepo is free and he scores! You talked about his brother. He had the fresh legs coming off the bench.
Look at Matthew Restrepo down there cheering on his little brother. How about that? The late sub coming in overtime, getting things done.
Alves to the middle. Sorry, trying to win a race for possession. Not going to get there. Trumbull is going back to the FCAC championship.
So there you have it. Trumbull, a 1-0 win. The back line, as you mentioned before, Kevin, played so consistent again. Miles Summers is making a name for himself in this tournament. And he's going to be faced with another tough task against this Greenwich offensive attack. They're going to have speed on the wings like they always do. And they have got that confidence and ability right now to shoot and score from anywhere that's pretty close to the 18.
Yeah, the back four for Trumbull is going to be tested again. So is the Greenwich back four. Both back fours are going to be tested. It's going to be a good battle between both sides. Throughout this tournament, though, you look at all these games, all back fours for all these teams, even the teams that went home losers, they all were tested and they all stood up to the chance. Look at how close all these games are. Bunch of 1-0s, 2-0s, close games. So I think we're going to see another final where two back fours are going to be tested, but at the same time, they're also going to be able to withstand the great talent that these both teams have. And you mentioned Miles Summers. He's stepped up big in the right back position. He's stopped everything that's come his way. And just quickly before we go back, the Restrepo goal, got a chance to look at it again on that highlight. He muscled off two defenders to score that. Gets by one defender, gets by Tyler Warren, who I praised throughout the season. Praised in the game. Thought he's one of the best center backs here in the FCAC. A young kid, too. He's only a sophomore. Muscles him off, gets that shot to the far post into the top corner. That's not easy to do. So for Andrew Restrepo, what a brilliant goal. And again, I got to praise Coach Gengemi for bringing him in, thinking that he would make a spark, and look what happened.
For me, though, the big concern now is heading into this championship game. It's been a great run by Trumbull. It's got a little bit of a Cinderella feel to it for a team that really was trying to find itself for most of the year. If they're going to win, though, Jason Weinstein has to be better. There's no other way around it, and I don't like to call the young man out, but he has been the key to their offense all season long. And right now, in postseason play against top talent, he is getting shut down by opposing defenses. And it's going to cost them a championship if he can't produce on Thursday night.
I agree, and he needs to be there on Thursday night. And he's the lone striker. He needs to check to the ball, give it off, make a run. That's what he needs to do. That's where his game works best. He's able to time his runs perfectly. I got to give credit to Ludlow. I got to give credit to Danbury because they knew going in that this was the guy to mark up. They did, and they did a nice job doing that. But that's where Trumbull has benefited from because they have guys like Penios Chenikis and Nicholas Musavian, who the two center attacking mids are right there to help develop play, go on the attack, start branching out to the outside wings. You had Anthony Barrera, who I thought was great in the quarterfinal, a little quiet in the semifinal, I thought, but that's someone who's to step up on Thursday night. But you're right, Frank. You can call him. I think that's something that he will take as motivation. You go out there, he wants the moment. He likes pressure on him. He wants that moment where, you know, late in the game, ball comes into the 18-yard box, he receives it, one touch, bang. He has that ability to score in the dramatics. And I think Thursday night, that's a guy who maybe if he's quiet throughout the first 70 minutes, those last 10 minutes, he's someone that, you know, the Greenwich back four has to be careful of.
Well, you know what, he might not be able to wait until those last 10 minutes because the Greenwich offense is one of the few that is thriving right now in the FCAC postseason. We're going to see more on the Big Red offense when we get back after the break and take a closer look at their 2-0 win over Norwalk. That's next on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.
New Canaan Foreign Car. Yes, New Canaan Foreign Car has been servicing all makes of foreign cars for over 50 years. We also buy, sell, and consign cars too. We can help you with all your automotive needs from service to sales. Call us at 203-966-2681.
At Portofino Restaurant and Wine Bar in Bethel, fresh and simple food is our concept. Owned and operated by brothers Rocco and Louie, Portofino has a distinct and diverse food and drink menu. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Come join us for live local music on Tuesdays and Sundays, Wednesday nights for mouthwatering prime rib, and every Thursday night is ladies' night. Planning a party? All our catering menus are personalized to suit your event and your budget. Join us at the Dolan Plaza, 213 Greenwood Ave, Bethel, and call us at 203-797-8131. Like us on Facebook. We're back on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network going into our second semifinal from last night. Number 2, Greenwich. Number 6, Norwalk. The Cardinals, the only home team to win in the quarterfinals, and the Bears coming off a 1-0 win over number 3, Stanford. Norwalk, regarded as one of the best offenses, best quick strike ability. There was a lot of firepower. Of course, Sebastian Echeverria is going to be named an all-conference player. He'll get all-state recollection as well. So you have all that coming into last night, and then there's a Greenwich offense and a Greenwich team across the board right now that is just firing on all cylinders, Kev. They've now scored 4 goals in the tournament. That is the combined total of every other team that is in play.
Again, we go back to what we were talking about the last block. Defense has really stood up, I think, in this tournament. And it has all season long. Back fours have been very strong throughout this season in FCIAC boys soccer. But for Norwalk, Sebastian Echeverria was just quiet last night. And, you know, that's a player that you need to create a spark right from the get-go. He needs to get out there, move forward, stretch that back four, and he wasn't able to do that. They pushed him out to left mid, actually, at one point for a while, and trying to, you know, work something there. Wasn't working. And that just comes to show, and you have to give, you know, that's respect towards Sebastian Echeverria, because that back four realizes how good Sebastian Echeverria has been all season long for Norwalk. One of the top strikers, like you mentioned, Frank, an all FCIAC player, one of the top strikers in the conference. And he's a huge threat. So Greenwich realizes that this is a guy we need to mark. And they did a nice job doing that. I thought Michael Hidalgo tried. And I got to give him credit, because even though he was stopped all night, Tommy Lewis was great. That left back for Greenwich was excellent last night against him. Tried. He was trying to be creative, couldn't get anything going. You also had Matty Hernandez, who was, I thought, one of the best players on the field last night for Norwalk. He was able to check to the ball, you know, play simple, play to feet. You know, he had worked his foot skills too, and it's a tough loss for Norwalk, and I give him credit for coming all the way back. If you look back a couple weeks ago when we were at Stanford, they lose 2-1 on a late goal by Stanford. Then they lose on senior night to Ridgefield. That's a tough way to end the season. They get into the playoffs. What do? They go back to Stanford and beat Stanford 1-0. Boost some confidence, go into that semifinal game. They looked very motivated, but it just comes to show that this Greenwich team, despite losing well over 20 seniors due to graduation last year in 2016, this Greenwich team is for real, and I got to give credit to Kurt Putnam. He's done an excellent job with this group of young lads here, and you got Martin Garcia, number 23, center attacking mid for Greenwich. On Thursday night, he is going to be one of the big reasons. If they want to go home and take the lone championship, he's going to be the reason why they go home champions.
Well, let's dive into the championship matchup a little deeper now. Trumbull and Greenwich meeting again. The first thing for me that stands out, and I'm going to be keeping an eye on in this game, Kevin, if Trumbull can't get any success early on, they cannot be too stubborn and unwilling to change. Find different ways to attack this back four of the Cardinals. You've got to get them out of a comfort zone. Do not let them get settled in early on, because you will be held scoreless and they will beat you in the counterattack game. Not once, not twice, but probably 3 times.
Yes, thank you, Frank. Yes, we've seen this twice now. And Trumbull, yes, they've made it to the final, but they've been too central. Play out wide. Stretch the field. There's a reason why this field's so big. Stretch the field. Stop playing in the middle of the field and stop kicking it around. It's not working for you guys. Yes, you've made it to the final and you've played great. Defensively, you've done awesome. And Menjivar has really done an amazing job as a keeper in keeping you guys in this tournament. But if you guys want to beat Greenwich on Thursday night, play out wide. You have the talent to do so. Anthony Barrera is a playmaker. Play out wide to him at left mid. Let him beat the defenders. He has the talent to do so. If you continue to play in the middle of the field, it's not going to work. Greenwich is going to expose you.
And I don't think that you necessarily have to abandon what you've been doing by any means. It's working for you. Don't fix what isn't broken.
Right.
But when it's not working out for you early on, all of a sudden, maybe Greenwich is on the board. You need to be able to adjust. And too many teams right now, and this is what I think happened with Norwalk, was too set in your own ways. You're too convinced that you can only win with one way of doing things. We've relied on Echeverria all year long. Look at what happened to Ridgefield. They've relied on Jatiano all year long. You've got to have different options. There's got to be different ways to attack. That is my key to success for Trumbull, is be willing to adapt. On the other side, for Greenwich, it is go, go, go. Twice now they have scored in the first half of games early on in the first 25 minutes. They had 2 of them in the quarterfinal matchup. They got another early one in that second half. Greenwich is at their best when they score first. Trust in James Johnson in that back line. Force the hand of the other team. So if I'm the Cardinals, I'm coming out flying. I want to get on the board as quickly as I can. I feel a lot better with Trumbull playing catch-up than I do trying to catch up with them.
I fully agree. And Greenwich is the one team throughout this tournament so far that hasn't come out flat to start the game. A lot of these teams are starting off way too slow. So far, the 3 games we've seen this tournament, all teams have started off slow, Trumbull included. They need to come out quick, and they need to realize that this Greenwich Cardinal team, like you mentioned, Frank, they come out fast. Look at what we saw last night. Immediately from the kickoff, the intensity was there. These guys were pushing forward. Trumbull, a little difficulty doing that in the quarterfinals and the semifinals. Now, Trumbull has the talent to do so. They don't need to play central. They can play out wide, and they can't rely on Menjivar because, yes, he's had a great tournament, but you know, this is a good Greenwich team. And the back four has stood tall for both sides, but in James Johnson, again, like you mentioned, Frank, we need to talk about him because not only is he a great keeper, but he's able to do things that a lot of keepers aren't able to do. He's able to actually create some set pieces from behind midfield. From their own third, he's able to set it back into the back four of the opposing team, maybe even inside the 18. We saw it a couple times last night, but this is going to be a fun final. But Trumbull has to realize Greenwich does come out very fast.
Yeah, it won't be as windy. We expect it to be warmer out Thursday night, so that's something for us to keep an eye on. And I'm glad that you mentioned how aggressive they were off that first kick. Greenwich, one of the few teams that really forces the issue on the back four of opponents. They're going to force them to make decisions, not allow them to just stand around, play catch, you know, every 5 yards or so. You got to be anticipating where the attack is coming from. Know that whoever you're passing it to is going to be under duress. So there's a lot more thinking that I think that's going to have to be done for Trumbull. But they do have 2 days to mow everything down. Make sure you've got all your T's crossed, your I's dotted. It's going to be a lot of fun on Thursday night. I completely abandoned the Greenwich highlights. We've got them here. Let's run them. Thank you, Steve.
How about the display of speed, though, by Ruiz? As a free ball out in front, and they score! What an absolute rocket off the foot of Martin Garcia. There's a ball towards the cage.
And he got it. He got it. Kwok got it.
Oh, here we go.
And you see Lucas Araujo trying to plead his case. Kwok was brought down. The referee saw it, and he called it.
It'll be Garcia again. Excuse me, it'll be Garcia who will take the kick. Gianluca Trofa to defend.
A big moment here. If Trofa can save this, save the game.
As the shot, it is stopped. The rebound, though, is buried to the back right corner. It's 2-0 Cardinals. On the outside, looking for help. Cuts back to the middle and tries to send one upfield. It is cut off. Sent along the sideline, and the championship is set. It'll be number 2 Greenwich and number 5 Trumbull. Cardinals a 2-0 win over Norwalk here tonight.
Trumbull, Greenwich, 7 o'clock Thursday night, Norwalk's Chesterfield. When we get back, we got 3 other tournaments to get you caught up on. That's next on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.
We know it's your busy season, and that's why Walter Stewart's Market is here to make things easy by offering the best of autumn under one roof. Walter Stewart's Market is your local one-stop fall shop. There are so many seasonal flavors to savor, and Stewart's has them all. From Blue Jay Orchard's local cider donuts to Vermont Farmstead cheddar and all of your favorite varieties of local apples and pears. Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, and find us at stewartsmarket.com.
Want a new experience in car buying? No aggravation, no confrontation, just answers to all your questions. Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Car buying the way you want it to be. With one of the largest selections of new 2- and 4-door Jeep Wranglers available, we are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Located in Fairfield, Connecticut, we're easy to get to. Just 2.5 miles off the Merritt Parkway, exit 44 via Route 58 South. Save thousands right now during the Jeep Celebration event and Ram Power Days. Now through October 31st.
At Black Horse Garage, we fulfill all your sports car needs. We specialize in manufacturer-recommended service and aftermarket high-performance parts and installation. We have one of the nation's top storage facilities and offer a high-end collision department that understands your need for detail. Visit blackhorsegarage.com for more.
The Kitchen Center offers quality cabinetry and affordable pricing. Visit our showroom for a free consultation with our professional design staff. For all your other home improvement needs, visit Northeast Building Supply, our full-service lumberyard and window showroom. The Kitchen Center, a division of Northeast Building Supply, 1470 Barnum Avenue, Bridgeport.
Dr. Stephen Molinaro and Peter Healy of Family Practice Dentistry and Laser Dental Care have served Ridgefield for over 22 years. Experienced staff offer gentle drillless techniques, preventative care, and cosmetic procedures in a relaxed environment. Grateful for the community's trust and support through the years, new patients and their families are welcome. Call today. Dr. Stephen.
Back on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network, Frank Granito alongside Kevin Coleman. Taking a look now at the girls soccer tournament, how that has played out so far. We'll throw the bracket up on the screen for you here. See, the first round games have been completed. Because of all that weather, Kev, we had the semifinals postponed. They're now being played tomorrow night at Lilly Field. Let's start with the 1-4 matchup. All of the top seeds advancing. Staples, Ridgefield, what kind of chance are you giving the Tigers here based on what we saw against Darien?
I'm giving them a good chance. They looked good against Darien. I thought a little bit of a slow first half, but I thought overall the Ridgefield Tigers looked pretty strong. Again, that back four is just so good. You got Claire Middlebrook and Catherine Barlow. The two of them alone can probably play two in the back. They're so strong. Lauren Castle continues to play a great goalkeeping, but for Staples,
they've been so good, though. That's the thing. Any other year, I feel really confident in Ridgefield, especially in the postseason. But
right.
This Staples team is just playing so well right now.
They are, and for Ridgefield, my one advice to them, if you have an opportunity anywhere in their third, shoot the ball. Shoot it. You don't know what's going to happen. Just shoot the ball. And for Staples, they have everything working for them, top to bottom. Their keepers to their top forwards. They have everything going for them. They're able to possess. They're able to really outplay their opponents and create chances from various ways, which we haven't really seen on either spectrum of boys and girls soccer this year. So for Staples, this is going to be a big game for them, and they have to realize that they can't take this Ridgefield team too lightly. And I don't think they will, but going into this game, this is going to be a big test for both teams. Can Ridgefield create some chances on that very lethal back four for Staples? Can Staples create chances? It's just, again, we're going to see another battle between two teams. I expect this to be a 1-0 type of game.
I agree. And then you've got St. Joe's and Fairfield Ward, that 2-3 matchup. For me, the reason I'm with the Cadets right now, and I just think that they are on a path to a championship, they are a very motivated group. They've felt robbed the past 2 years, that they've underachieved as well after coming into the tournament as the #1 seed and then falling to Ridgefield. I just think this is the Cadets' year. This team has been playing so well. Mazzo and Bike are doing such a great job leading this group. I think they come out flying offensively. I don't know that Ward is going to be able to keep up if this becomes a high-scoring affair.
I agree, and Jessica Mazzo's had a great year. And we can't forget about Tori Bike because you have Jessica Mazzo, who creates the offensive chances up front, and then you have Tori Bike, who on the back four is probably easily one of the best defenders in the state. So the two of them are easily one of the biggest reasons why. And I agree with you, Frank. I think this is the year. They have to realize, and I like the motivation that they brought even before the season started. We got a chance to talk to them during the tour. They're motivated, and they know that they're like, we're going to be in that final. Whatever it takes, we're going to be there. We're going to create some chances, and we're going to make things happen in that FCI tournament. And they got here. They got in as the 2 seed, and I think that's actually going to benefit them maybe in a way because we've seen throughout the years, look at the boys' side. The number 1 seed, that's a big target on your back. So being the 2 seed, you kind of get that, the X off your back a little bit and not as much pressure. But for St. Joe's, they continue to playing great soccer, and I expect them to take care of business in this semifinal game.
You hear the term in pro sports so often, playing with house money. That is the definition of these tournaments, of those lower seeds. It's supposed to be a chalk kind of tournament. The top seeds are supposed to win. They're supposed to roll. There is so much pressure on a 1, on a 2 seed. Those low seeds, I'm surprised that we didn't see any upsets in the first round of that girls soccer tournament. Let's take a look at the the field hockey tournament now, as we have got a championship matchup set. And Wilton, through 2 overtime games, Kevin, has found themselves back in the championship, a chance to defend their FCI crown from last year. They took down Staples in double overtime, then defeated number 1 Greenwich in overtime. On the other side of the bracket, Darien has rolled. They are looking like Darien field hockey of old. One key for you in that championship game between the Warriors and the Blue Wave.
I like the Darien Blue Wave in this one. I think they've had such a strong year and a little bit of a slow end to the year, but I really like the Blue Wave. And how about Wilton? It's just the resiliency. That's the key word.
I'm in on the Warriors. I think the Blue Wave is a smart pick. Yeah. I think they're playing so well right now. They are one of the most offensively talented teams we've seen in a long time. But this Warriors group, the group of girls that we got to talk with on the FCI tour, the leaders, so much fun. There's a great energy around this group. Now you see the ways they've won these first 2 rounds. They've got nothing to lose. They're that 5 seed too, the low seed. They're having fun. They're winning games. Olivia Hahn scoring 48 seconds into overtime yesterday to beat Greenwich. I just think the Warriors are ready to go. They come out. If it's a close game, they find a way to get it to go their way.
Right, and that's what benefits them, because if it's a close game, who do you give the edge to? Wilton, because look what they've done throughout this tournament. They've gone through 2 overtimes, and it's the resiliency of this group, the great chemistry, like you mentioned, Frank. They all are close, and that's what really makes it a fun team to watch. And they're the underdogs, and I think they're loving that because they're using that to their advantage and going in each and every game. And again, they're going to be the underdogs in this game because Darien's number 3. Darien, another strong year, one of the top teams in the conference. Maybe they should have been the 1 seed, but again, knocking off the 4 and the 1 for Wilton has to be feeling great for the Warriors right now going to this championship game.
And Darien did take the regular season matchup 3-2, that back on October 12th. Final tournament that's in action right now, we've got the girls volleyball tournament going on. We mentioned at the top of the show, Staples and Ridgefield have still not played their quarterfinal matchup due to Ridgefield school cancellations this week. That game is going to be played tomorrow at 4:30. You can see it live here on the HAN network. St. Joe's 3-0 over New Canaan. Shout out to the Rams. I'll go homer for a second here. An incredible year under first-year head coach Kevin Marino. Carson Alstead was an absolutely amazing player for the Rams this season. They're going to have some success in the state tournament, I believe, but awesome to see New Canaan in the girls volleyball FCI postseason. Huge win by Danbury. That was a team we were really excited to see hopefully move on again. So them and St. Joe's in a rematch of a great match from earlier in the year. Stanford is down. That is a mistake by me on that bracket. They were shut out by Greenwich 3-0. So there will not be a repeat championship for the Black Knights. Ridgefield Staples, let's dive into that for a minute, Kev. A couple quick keys here before we get off the air.
Ooh, that feels like a final to me. That's going to be a big matchup, first-round matchup. Neither one of these teams want to play each other because they both could easily go to that next round, and it's going to be a fun matchup between these 2 teams. Ridgefield, Staples, we've seen Staples quite a lot this year, and I've liked what they've done. Vanessa Eng, by far one of the best liberos in the conference. Defensively, she's made some great stops that are eye-opening, and you know, Jagenberg has been great in front of the net, and we can't forget about Amanda Trolscha because, again, proving why she's one of the senior captains and, you know, doing big things here for the Wreckers. And obviously, we look at the Tigers. Who do they have? Caroline Colonel, who, again, three-sport athlete, absolute great athlete on the court. And, you know, this is going to be close. And you look at their regular season matchup, Richfield won 3-2, went all the way to the fifth set. I fully expect this to go to a fifth set, maybe even get down to match point for both teams.
Well, speaking with Coach Shepro after their win against New Canaan that clinched a playoff spot, he felt they had Richfield on the ropes. He wanted a shot at the Tigers again. Loved that matchup. For me, the big X factor, I'm glad you mentioned Vanessa Ang. It's going to be the way Ang plays defense on those Colonel spikes from the kills from the outside. Colonel is going to look for those kills, and she's going to get her kills. But if you can rob 4, 5, 6 points from the Tigers because Ang makes a huge play defensively, that will be the difference in this game for me.
You're absolutely right. And the one key thing I think you have to look at for Richfield, they're going to be without Nicole Miller. She's got her second or third concussion, so she's done for the year. No Nicole Miller, and she's been one of the key components here for the Richfield Tigers for you know, the whole season. Without her, you know, they've lost some key games down the stretch. And they went through a little bit of a slide, and that's why, you know, you look at they bumped to the 3 spot. Maybe they could have been 1 or 2, but they bumped to 3, losing a couple games down the stretch. Without Nicole Miller, you know, this Richfield team has a little bit of a different identity. So this might be, you know, an advantage here for the Staples Wreckers if they can take advantage of that.
It's going to be a lot of fun. You will see it on the HA Network tomorrow at 4:30. Staples, number 6, Ridgefield, number 3 in the girls volleyball tournament. Of course, we'll keep you updated on the rest of our postseason coverage now as we try to readjust the schedule after cancellations from the storm. Kev, great job today. Can't wait to be back tomorrow. For Kevin Coleman, I'm Frank Granito. We'll see you next time on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. It's a bad one. Happy Halloween.